Hey everybody, welcome to SHOT Show 2024. Again, back here in the HK booth.
Giddy up.
With more folks from Active Self-Protection, my dear friends, Neil Widener, John Correa. Welcome, dudes. Had the opportunity to have Stephanie and Carrie on, but let the ladies go
after
first.
them, why in the world do you want to talk to us?
I don't even know why we're here.
That's a great question. Although they got to go first, and I'm going to ask some of the same questions of you guys. And so, as you was noting a minute ago, play a little like newlywed game. We'll see if you throw out some of the same stuff. If you do, you'll have to give me something else.
Okay, all right.
So, but first off, for those that, I imagine many of my listeners, or in your case, viewers, probably know who you are, but on the off chance someone's just discovering us for the first time, give me a quick, 30-second intro.
Okay. Well, I am Neil Widener. I am the Chief Marketing Officer and the Head of Training for Active Self-Protection. So basically what I do is manage the relationships of our different sponsors, like HK and some of the other ones around there. And then I line up most of the training that we do when we travel around the country, dealing with the hosts and all of that. Also on screen fairly regularly with the Range Monkey, our daughter, and all of that kind of stuff on our extra channel. And then the big thing that I've done over the last couple of years is rolled out the Active Self-Protection Unlimited app. And that has taken up most of my life for the last couple of years. That's off and going, and life is good with that, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, so from a big picture perspective, Active Self-Protection is a self-defense and firearms training organization. We're nationwide and worldwide. We probably our core competency. We run 2 large YouTube channels where we teach every day. We're known for analyzing real-life self-defense encounters that real people get into. Some badge cams of cops, but a lot more surveillance video of private citizens. We analyze them for lessons learned. We have a second channel that we teach handgun skills, shotgun skills, rifle skills, empty-handed skills, legal and moral self-defense, a few gear reviews here and there. And we have our own family of apps. We teach instructors. So our mission is that we teach good, sane, sober, moral, prudent people to protect their loved ones from criminal violence.
Yeah. And in just a few moments ago, I was talking with Stephanie and Carrie about the conference, which, so we don't need to totally rehash that, but of course, that's a huge part of you guys' mission as well.
Near and dear.
Anything you want to add about that?
It's just
what's your perspective of the Active Self-Protection National Conference?
I think it's the most fun training weekend you can have. There's plenty of great conferences out there, okay, and I've been to most of them.
Yep.
And I love them, and I think they have a place. I think the thing with the ASP National Conference is it's all to help abused and abandoned foster teens, and so it's just got a different feel to it because people are coming together to help kids, and so the training is great, the classes are great, the range time is great. But it's the sitting around the campfire afterwards. It's the
worship together.
Yeah, worship together. We get up in the morning, and for those who want to come and have Bible study and prayer, they can. It's conference style. You don't have to go if you don't want to. Those kind of things. I just think it's a special time. So it's my favorite week of the year. I leave it dragging like a dead dog, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. For me, it's one of my favorite weekends of the year because it's after sometimes weeks and sometimes months of work preparing for that, lining up instructors, getting all of my stuff ready to get that. I haul a trailer full of stuff down to Kansas and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then it's usually a good month's worth of work after it as well. But that one weekend when everybody's there and it all comes together and everybody's there for the right reason, it's the egos seem to just kind of wilt away, and everybody's just there to have a good time. They're there for the right reason. My favorite part of the weekend, of course, is the auction that we do on Saturday night. Started out as a raffle, turned into kind of a raffle/auction, then turned into getting to MC something with Cody. And man, you just don't know what you're going to get but to stand on.
Oh, you know what you're going to get.
Well, yeah,
and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're going to have fun. You just don't know exactly what it's going to be. There's a couple of times I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm standing here in front of 100 people with And did he just say that? but that's my favorite part of it is letting him get out and be. And Cody came to us through foster care, so this is near and dear to our heart. So
Right.
just to have him be as big a part of it is that's the best part of it for me.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite nights of the whole weekend as well. It's truly special. It's special to see. It's special to see Cody. It's special to see you guys' interaction, and to see everybody there supporting the mission, not only on the training side, but supporting the raising of funds to support kids that need it.
Yeah.
So super, super cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, this last year we raised over $120,000 for those
just
kids. It's amazing,
amazing.
you know.
Yep.
That's amazing.
So one big thing that that is going to be different. I have never volunteered at the camp in the summer. So in the summertime, they run camps for kids that are currently in foster care. I've always had it on my heart to go spend a week there, and it's just never worked out. And this year, I have committed. And actually, one of the Mantis guys, I was talking to him, and he's like, "I'm on the list, but I have kind of held back so I'm like, let's go do it at the same time, so at least we know each other." So we're going to go spend 2 weeks in Kansas this summer and actually volunteer at the camps and see firsthand. We've heard the stories. We know, and we know the abuse. We know what's going on there. But it's one of those things, until you actually experience it, it's really hard to do. And my heart is excited to go do this and terrified to go do this at the same time, because I don't want to see that. But if I can be a small part of support, or maybe a ray of sunshine, or some help to some kid out there that needs it, I'm super excited about that. And then to be able to share that experience maybe a little bit more better, I guess, with people, so they understand what we're doing there. And I think to some degree people understand what we're doing. But like this year, the first year that they've got an obstacle course. This was our 5th year. This was the first year we actually went out to the obstacle course. We did some time there, walking around and talking about this. The instructor meeting on Thursday night, we actually tried one of the obstacles, and that was a mess. Trying to get a bunch of grown people to balance on.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, and you see what these kids are going through. What they do, and you can see these are trust building exercises, and I think starting there on Thursday night with the instructors changed the perspective of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Sunday morning we took anybody that wanted to come out to the wall, and I don't know that we'll do that exactly the same way, because the emotional level of that was high. That
was
hit hard, and there were some people that we've got instructors running around getting ready to run classes at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
And at about 7:30, I've got everybody in tears because they're down here experiencing this emotion. I'm like, maybe we need to address that to some degree. But my gosh, the walking back was so somber, and so. I feel like the people were filled with a mission, and that was a big deal to me. And I want to continue that and get that message across, and maybe not make it so that in a half hour we're all handling guns and we're still pretty emotional.
Yeah,
So.
Totally. No, that's great. So we are here at SHOT Show, and there's a lot to see.
Yeah.
You guys have had a busy week, I am sure. So what's one thing you saw this week that just like
I mean, the
that's
thing
cool.
that made my heart the gladdest was watching Riley Bowman become an HK brand ambassador and join forces. That was really cool. Watching, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what you're going to help them bring to the VP9. I'm excited for that, and I really mean that. I mean, listen, if you don't know that, I have a little bit of influence of bringing things around. I have not yet been able to get Bruce Gray to do a VP9 trigger. You seem to have pull there that I don't. And so I'm stoked for that, because that helps me.
It
So
helps
it's
to be on the Grey Guns team for
does.
4 or 5 years
Yeah.
now.
And listen, that benefits me. So it's purely selfish.
Yeah.
Purely selfish interest.
Yeah.
I think that for me, the show is always more about people than it is about products, and I've gotten to see a lot of great people and spend some really good time. I think there have been some pretty cool products. It's amazing to me what the night vision capabilities have become over the last few years. Like, I mean, today now I realize it's not a little bit of money, but like $15,000, you can get a product that 5 years ago would cost you $150,000.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so $15,000 is still out of my budget, but it's definitely an order of magnitude better.
Headed in the right direction at least.
Yeah, certainly heading in the right direction.
And it's better than it was when it cost $150.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
as a trainer, seeing some of the virtual training stuff that's coming around, that, you know, even a year or two ago, computing power wasn't there where, I mean, if you're slow, okay, fine, but when you're Riley Bowman fast, when you're Neil Widener fast, you know, moving a gun at speed and that gun's lagging behind what you're doing.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're up to speed.
Yeah.
And I'm watching JJ Rakaza run plate racks virtually and going, how was that? And he goes, that's tracking perfect. And
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
I agree. Yeah. And now, so that was actually the thing that Stephanie pointed out was, like, specifically, she said the ACE
Yeah, man, that's really
system,
cool.
right? Yeah. So, but I'm glad you started with like some of the other things in night vision. I've been particularly impressed with seeing some of the advances in like digital night vision type
Yeah.
products and like a merging of more like red dot sights with night vision or thermal capabilities, like some of the Holosun products, for instance. Did you check those out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool looking.
Like crazy. I mean, like, in the fact that it's actually, it's just come so far, and the pricing. I mean, like you said,
it's just
I mean,
insane.
Like they have their one night vision red dot thing for like $1,200 or $1,300.
Yeah.
What they were saying, like that's crazy. So anyway,
And yeah, that stuff to me has been super cool. I'm also, this is just a silly, I mean, maybe it's not silly, 20 gauge defensive ammo back in the world.
Right.
With you know, Federal with their flight control came out with a 20 gauge flight control number 2 buck. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
For years now, people have said, John, what's the best 20 gauge? I go, can't use 20 gauge.
Yeah.
There's no good defensive loads for it.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
making any, and now we do. So
Yeah.
that's huge for one thing,
Great.
and I'm super excited about that.
all right, Neil, your
Yeah.
turn.
You know, I would echo all of that stuff. You know, Mantis has launched a test into the AR or the augmented reality
Yes.
world.
Yep.
We got to play with that a little
I
bit.
think it's
Now there's a
cool.
ways away, and that's going to be expensive too. But I think by the time that's ready, I'm sure the price point's going to come down to some degree. That is really neat stuff and exciting to see. You know, there were a couple of things that, you know, when I picked them up and looked at them, like there was like, oh wow. And for me, you know, I'm a Trijicon guy. I run an SRO. Oh, you know, I know you Holosun guys are all. I have nothing.
It's dot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Wanna
dot.
put out there, dot. Yep.
But I like the big window. I like the Trijicon.
Yeah.
I've had it for a while. I've you know, that's me. I've got a few rounds downrange with one of those, right? I picked up the RMR HD for the
Yeah.
first time I'd ever picked it up, and I know it's been around a while, and I know people are really happy about it. It's not cheap; it's kind of spendy, but I picked that up, and it's the first time I looked at a dot and went, "Whoa!" in a long time. You know, a little bit different glass, changes my astigmatism a little bit, which I thought was interesting. And so, of course, you know, I'm excited to get one of those on my gun and get some hours behind one of those. You know, and again, you know, that's a basic dot kind of thing, but I feel like, you know, these guys, you know, Holosun, Trijicon are, you know, they're looking to get better and they're looking to move in the right direction. And my goodness, you know, picking something up and going,
Yeah.
wow, that doesn't happen very often once you've been here. I think this is my 8th year.
Yeah.
You know, so that of the one thing that made me go wow like that. Now I kind of I nerded out over the VR stuff and all of that, but that one thing was probably the thing that hit me the most for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your little clip, you know, playing with the
Yeah.
Mantis system, and that looked really.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw the clip. I'll be honest. I must have missed a press release or something somewhere.
It's not out yet,
yeah,
so there was no press
sure.
release. They
Okay,
just brought
well,
it to show it off this weekend. So
Sure.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I saw like the glasses or whatever, and I was just like, whoa, like what's going on
Yeah,
there?
what is
yeah,
this?
Yeah.
Looked like you're like a bumblebee or something.
Yeah, yeah, and so the cool thing about it is, I mean, the glasses, I can see through them.
Yeah.
So I see everybody standing there, but then through the virtual reality piece of it, the augmented reality, all of a sudden they can put in a target right there or the bad guy right there. They can put in different spawning areas. So as I
Right.
understand it, you walk through your house, your room, your building, and just look around and it maps it for you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, right. And then
And then
you
start
say,
spawning targets.
yeah, and then you say spawn targets, and so now it's not a game of I know there's going to be one there, and there in this order. it's going to give them to you in whatever order it wants to, and now you've got to, so it makes it more realistic.
Yeah.
And last year, this time, I mean, we saw a unit that's not unlike this idea, and I'm talking a big Halo headset with this big thing and a backpack, literally
backpack
like
with
a
a computer
35-pound
in it.
backpack
Yeah.
that you're wearing with a battery and a computer and all this stuff to see all
Right.
these things. And now, literally, it's a set of glasses goes around your head and a hockey puck you stick in your pocket.
Those guys, I'll tell you, those Mantis guys, they
Yeah.
they are crazy, wicked smart.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know how they
where
figure
they
this
get
stuff out.
where they get it.
And look, man, you're seeing all these guys now. I think that virtual and augmented space is really coming along. And
Yeah.
Yep.
and as a trainer, as a guy that listen, I'm not a product designer. I'm not a manufacturer. None of that stuff. So, but the training side,
Yeah.
oh man, what can we do?
Yeah.
That makes me super
Oh
excited.
yeah, huge
Yep.
opportunities there
Yep.
for
Yep.
sure. So what's floating your guys' boat these days, just in general? Training, shooting, whatever. What are you most passionate about right now?
That's a great question. I've been working for the last 7 months to get some weight off, and so just trying
I've been following along, brother.
Yeah, 60 pounds at this
Yeah.
point. Maybe 58 pounds since a week of SHOT Show. But,
Lots of danger tacos.
lots of danger tacos. But, just from the, my big thing is I don't like the fat shaming that sometimes comes in the industry that says, if you're overweight, well, then you're stupid and you should die.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
listen, I don't care what your physical health is. You have the right to protect your life.
Right. How dare you spend time training with your gun if you're not,
Yeah, if you
don't
can't do
look
500
like,
burpees.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, strong people are more useful in general, and I want to be around for my kids and my grandkids. I don't have any grandkids right now, but maybe one day. So I want to be more generally useful later in my life, and so my wife and I love to travel. So that's been a passion of mine, to just get out and do a little something every day and make that a part of my stuff, and also. I've been getting in trouble lately on the internet talking about red dots and those who are against them being gun Amish. That's a little phrase that we've been doing. And my thing is that some people hold on to false precepts as the fundamentals. Some people are like, well, John, iron sights are the fundamental. No,
yeah.
iron sights are a technology that we use to aim the gun.
Yep.
And so
Aiming's a fundamental.
aiming is a
There's
fundamental.
different ways of
Pointing the
achieving
gun
it.
at the
Yeah.
target is a fundamental.
Yep.
But when the 1911 was made, you had that little tiny sliver of a front sight and a notch in the rear. And
A
and we went-
suggestion.
a suggestion
Yeah.
of sights.
I can't remember who first said that.
Yeah. And then those improved and improved and improved. And so I am a tech guy, and I want people to say not to use unproven tech. We got to have understanding of reliability is important and repeatability, but I'm passionate about helping people overcome the myths in that stuff, and I don't care if you don't want to run a dot. It doesn't hurt my feelings any. I'm not gonna be at your gunfight. You know what I mean? And hopefully you never get it. And so it's all
yeah.
academic, But to have people not be stuck in the past simply thinking that's what the fundamental is, like listen, well, you got to do this for the trigger. Until we figure out a way that I'm triggering the gun with my mind. And the second we do that, I say go, and it goes, and I don't have any muscle input, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll take it right now. So, yeah, that's the thing for me. I don't know. How about for you?
I would say that the brain just telling the gun when to fire, but also we just have integrated augmented reality type
Yeah.
heads-up display, so that wherever we look, we see an aperture or a crosshair appear.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
need that
Shoot that
RoboCop.
RoboCop level stuff,
Yeah.
right?
So I need some Tony Stark tech to
Yeah.
make that. I'll take it the second
Yeah.
I can afford it, and it's available.
I'll take an Iron Man suit. That wouldn't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, it's probably a little bit less on the training side and more on the family side for me right now. I went full time with ASP right as everybody got locked down, and man, I was freaking out. Did I quit my job at the wrong time? All of that
Turned
kind of
out you
stuff.
quit your job at the right
Turned out
time.
it was the perfect time, right? Because if there was a silver lining to COVID, was everybody stayed home and watched YouTube.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. That's not a silver lining, but if there was, it worked
Right.
out well for us, and so I like that. But one of the things when John's like, "Hey, we got to get you full time. I need you. We can replace the income of your job and all of that kind of stuff. Let's make this happen." So we did. One of the things that we did with that was then, hey, you need to go get some certifications. You need to go through some training stuff. You need to kind of make this your part-time job for a while to not necessarily chase the paper, but chase the skills and the way to describe that skill set. And so I took just about every class that I possibly could for a couple, 3 years. And so I was on the road a lot.
1,000 hours of training in 3 years.
Yeah, and I love it. I would do it all again. But the thing that is really where I'm focusing this year is I want to step back from maybe traveling every weekend for training and get Steph out there to have her, because she kind of stepped back so I could do the training. It's time for me to step back and I can do all the dry fire and I can work on all those skills. I can, I'm a dry fire guy. So I think what for me personally training wise is implementing all of this stuff that I've learned to a deeper level and maybe getting it, just more of that rather than going out and looking for that one new shiny piece of tech or training technique or whatever, and step back and let Steph hit a few of these classes, get out there and because she's a heck of a good shooter too.
Yeah.
And she's the most giving person of us all. So when an opportunity arises, she's the one that steps back and stays with Cody, and she's the one that's like, okay, I don't need the flash, the light on me and all of that kind of stuff. And she's probably the smartest person I know, the most giving person I know, and so for this
her choice in husband's a little sketch.
And she chose the right guy, right? Very handsome and robust man. But no, my priority this year is, Steph, take the classes that are on your to-do list, because I had some bucket list classes that I really wanted to take. And she stepped back and let me take those, the Ed Monk class and your class and all of that kind of stuff. So I could get the things that I really wanted to get in. Now I want to step back and make sure that she gets some of her stuff. So that's my big thing this year is really help Steph get what she wants. And I know she wants some Force Science Institute stuff and that kind of thing. And I'm like, that really is exciting for her. That doesn't appeal as much to me. It's interesting to me, but like that's exciting to her. So I'm like, let's get you to go do that stuff. I love it, because then she can whittle that down to where an idiot like me can understand it, and I can implement that into my stuff and the things that I do when I go train. So, and then probably as far as training goes. We've been doing the 2-day evidence-based pistol class now for a few years. And every time it evolves just a little bit. And let's do this, or this class is a little ahead. So this year we're introducing days 3 and 4. So we've got one of those set for down in Arkansas. We're gonna do it on the Trigger Interactive with the steel. So we're gonna work on we're calling it fundamentals with a capital FUN because it's really fun. You've done that, right? But we're gonna spend a couple of days working on transitions, near, far, left, right, up, down, all of that kind of stuff, and how the reaction time changes when all of a sudden now you're using visual indicators versus a beep and all of that. A lot of times, I'll put out a video and everybody's like, well, you gotta add movement, you gotta do this, and you gotta get off the X and all of that stuff. And I'm like, respectfully, I don't want to disrespect anybody's opinion. And in some cases I do, I guess. But if you can't stand and deliver, you sure can't move and deliver. So let's get that basic one down. And I think people are, I think for the most part, a lot of people are getting to that point where, okay, I've got a solid draw to first shot. And even if it's a 1-5, I don't care what time is. If it's a good solid draw to first shot, well, now we can start thinking about, let's get some movement. Let's do some transitions. Let's do some of that other stuff. And with the Trigger Interactive one, that's super fun. So it's going to be a good time. So
awesome.
That's for me this year.
Thanks for sharing, guys. That's excellent. We're about out of time here, but before we go, the way I'd like to wrap up is by asking each of you, and it can be about anything.
Ooh.
Anything. Maybe it can be shooting or training or whatever related, self-defense related, I don't care, but if you want to go outside that, that's also acceptable. I'd like to hear from each of you a tip for the listeners and viewers. Kind of tip.
A tip. Okay, I'm going to step outside of the training world just a little bit and say, don't let the world make you hard. This world's a hard world. It's a hard time. A lot of stuff is very hard for a lot of people. Seeing folks, my heart, my background, I'm a Jesus guy and a 14-year vocational pastor. I'm seeing marriages suffer. I'm seeing parents and kids today, man. About 50% of kids or teenagers today reporting suffering with significant depression and significant sadness. Man, don't let the world make you hard. Do your very best to see the good, and find the good and embrace the good. And that's in the defensive training world. Sometimes we use fear and fear mongering to try to scare people into buying our products or taking our classes or listening to us. And I don't want to live that way. I want to live in a way that I enjoy the world, and my safety is part of my hospitality plan, that I can love more people. So don't let the world make you hard.
Yeah. That's wonderful advice.
That's a good
That's
one.
hard to follow.
I know,
Boom!
right?
Got deep. Now what, Neil?
Man, I had a pretty lame one, but now I'm gonna have to change. Lately we've had the whole gun Amish thing. I think the thing is that I would say to people is, find your sense of humor, for crying out loud. Get off of
Part
the
of not letting the world make you hard. Lighten up.
Yeah, maybe lighten up.
Come on, Francis.
Just because somebody says something that you don't necessarily agree with, you don't have to then personally attack them. And so be kind.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending battle, especially when you've got a reach the size that ASP has, and you put a video out there, and if you've got 3.5 million people, that half of them are going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
But can we disagree kindly? Can we disagree respectfully? Can we not be a raging jackwagon to everybody that puts themselves out there? And
The unfortunate apparent answer to that is no.
yeah, apparently. So I would say just be nice, and then the other thing that I would say, in the year that we're at. I'm getting a little bit older. I'm up in my 50s now. My parents are starting to, age a little bit more, and I'm seeing them slow down and things change. So call your mom, call your dad, and tell them you love them. And I need to take my own advice, but the one thing that we have is our families, and we had a little bit of a not great news this week with our family. Back home, and when we have 4 daughters, and when they were little kids, they would just fight and scratch and all of that stuff. And the thing that we always told them was like, your friends are going to come and go. You're going to have colleagues, and in some cases, your husbands may come and go. And in the world that we live in, we don't want to see that. But people come and go out of your life. Your family's there forever. And when we had a hiccup back home this week, and the first thing that happened was all 4 daughters just circled up the wagons. That's so figure out where your wagons need to be circled, be prepared to do it, and maybe do it just in case anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure to spend a few moments with you here during a busy week on a busy day. Of course, in I think what is now heaven on earth, or at least heaven on the shop
Playground.
Yeah.
floor.
Right. Yeah.
HK booth. Thank you, HK, for making this possible. Thank you guys for your time, and wish everyone luck. Hey, thanks for tuning into the podcast and for being a part of this with us. And we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully soon in the near future.